All right, I'm going to give you guys a big warning. I made a 20-minute video about all the patch notes. And after making the video, I was like, you know what? I wish I didn't even read any of the patch notes because from what I'm gathering, it's a new game and it would probably just be more fun just going into it, not even reading them. So, with that, I still am going to share my thoughts and some of the big changes with the patch notes. Some of the things that I thought were like, oh, wow, that's a big change on that ability, or that's a big change on that item. But realistically, it'd probably be a lot more fun if you just play the game because it's going to feel like a new game, just like they said. It is finally here. We got the patch notes. Point two, Dawn of the Hunt patch notes. They are about, I don't know how many pages this is. This is absolutely insane how long this is. So obviously I'm not going to sit here and read all these out. If you guys want the full patch notes, I'll just link them below. But I thought I'd go through and just anything that sticks out. Whoa, that's a big change. That is crazy. Or that's a big nerf. I'm going to go over that with you guys today. So make sure you like and subscribe for me reading through all this and finding out what's important. But first off, this is a start of a fresh new economy. You could play your old, but they highly encourage you to join the new league to take part of the changes they made to the 2.2 update. So let's go through and check it out. All right, so this is a big change. This is under around endgame changes, so we'll start there. So corruption areas no longer have a +1. So basically you're able to get level 16 map out of a level 15 if you did corruption. But now they're more likely to have modifiers, and the modifiers can be more powerful. Some new corruption modifiers have also been added. I think this is really good to mention. You can now respawn and return to a map upon dying. Upon first entering endgame, you get 6 attempts, and then it goes down based on the modifiers on the waystones. But you can go back and forth in the map as many times as you want. So if you have a bunch of loot on the ground, you can go pick that up, take it back to your stash, and then go back and loot again. It's only if you die, you lose the attempt. It's a really good change. Waystones can no longer drop at a lower tier than you are on the map. So if you're on a map 4, I remember doing map 16s and getting a tier 1. So that is awesome. Also, the final map boss actually drops maps just like it did before, but also the final rare in a map also drops a map as well. We shouldn't be having a problem running out of maps. Also, if you've complete a level 15 map, that means you could go purchase level 14 maps from Doriani. So you could do up to 10 lower than your highest completed. You're able to buy maps pretty easily now. So we're going to want to find the unique maps because they give you 2 Atlas skill points for a total of 10 points. So our first 5 unique maps will get 10 Atlas skill points. Very important to do that. So here it talks about some of the modifiers on tablets. Looks like they reduced them a little bit. So you can see that on tablet modifiers for rarity, it's been reduced to 10 to 15%. It used to be 10 to 20. Same with quantity. Used to be 3 to 8. Now it's 3 to 7. That's probably because we get 3 tablets now. I'm assuming that's the reason. So we're just going to have more easier opportunity to increase the quantity. So all bosses, pinnacle bosses, can at any difficulty could drop any of the gear. It's just a better chance for better gear on the higher difficulties. And you do not lose experience from dying in Simulacrum, Twisted Domain, or any of the other pinnacle areas. It does not say anything about Secumus. So it looks like you still might lose experience in Secumus. So almonds will always appear on ritual rewards and map areas. That is really good. And then small chance for an additional. So you might be able to get 2 in 1 map. So when you refresh it, it sounds like you're getting at least 2 omens, which is great. So it looks like Breach took a little bit of a hit. You can see that some of these Breach notables, passives, 50% increased quantity of Breach splinters instead of 75. This one was the clasping hands would be 30% slower. Now it's going to be, or was 50%. Now it's going to be 30%. So we lost 20% there. Also, too, we have increased density, went from 15% to 10% in the breach. And Also, the crumbling walls is the one where you could get additional breaches. Those percentages went down too. It looks like breach got a little bit of a nerf. I wonder how bad ingenuity is when we find that. So is it going to be worth to do breach? We shall find out. So characters have to be 25 to enter cruel and then 50 to enter endgame areas. I think I got there like 46. That's interesting. So you might be farming cruel before you could get to the endgame area. Player base element threshold is half of maximum life. Previously, max of life. That's a big change. Makes things a little bit harder. You're going to be able to get stunned a little bit easier, or get frozen a little bit easier, or ignited a little bit easier. Heavy stun duration on players is now 3 seconds, previously 1 second. Players cannot block or evade hits while they're heavy stunned. Gemling Legionnaire Ascendancy. So it looks like the Enhanced Effectiveness Ascendancy, that's the one that gives you a hair bonus from intelligence, strength, and dexterity are doubled. Now also grants 20% less attributes, so it's going to be a lot harder to stack those stats. All right, so I think this is a little bit of a buff. So previously the Quicksand Hourglass Ascendancy, every 10 seconds or every 12 seconds, you get 50% more cast speed for 4 seconds. That's definitely a buff. Now it's every 10 seconds, gain 50% more cast speed for 5 seconds. And you could reduce this cooldown too. So I think I've gotten this down to 4 seconds before when it was at 12. So maybe we could get it down to 3, which is really good. This says added Flood of Echoes Ascendancy passive skill that grants the Unleash skill. So Unleash is a support gem. I'm not sure if that means every one of your skills has that support gem. We'll have to read up on that when it comes out, because I'm not exactly sure what that means, but this probably is a buff. All right, let's read some Stormweaver. So they got the nerf. So it's for every 25 mana instead of 15 mana now. For the Arcane Surge. Scouring Winds got a nerf, which was 20%. Now it is 12%. Not sure why this makes sense, but it says that this notable passive, strike twice, 50% less shock duration. Instead, it's just less damage. 25% less magnitude of shock you inflict. Less damage there. The Mana Ascendancy passive no longer provides 4% increased mana, now provides 12% mana regeneration rate. So Stormweaver did get the nerf. It looks like Chrono got a little buff. So as of right now for the Sork, it looks like Chrono's going to be a little bit better. We shall see while we're playing Huntress. So this is interesting. So there is some big passive skill tree changes with the added Huntress class. So new clusters for blind, vitality, ranged, and melee related clusters, hazards, companion. We're not going to be able to see all this, but basically for everything that a spear weapon would do, which could be on any class, is now there are clusters going to be there for them. We'll have to see how that looks when the passive tree comes out. We are going to go and try that Ritualist, so we will be making guides for that ASAP when it comes out, even leveling ones. Oh no! So they're removing 12 jewel sockets from the passive skill tree. I guess they think that it was too easy, and we were using jewels over probably like notables or passives on the skill tree. They were going for jewels a lot more often. I guess it kind of makes sense. A lot of builds were just going for more jewel sockets than some of the keystone passives or the notables. So Eldritch Battery, big nerf. Keystone passive, the skill has additional property of doubles mana cost. So basically what Eldritch Battery does, it takes your energy shield and puts it into mana. Now doubles mana cost, probably of all your items or your spells. That's a huge nerf. Here's some of our stat stackers. The Falcon Technique notable. 1% increase attack speed per 25 dexterity. Used to be 15. That is a big nerf to the stat stacker monk or gemling. And they are not letting us increase mana like that. Can't wait to see Archmage. Oh my gosh. So we'll get a third through this too, guys. The Mana Blessing notable passive skill no longer has 5% increase maximum mana, just provides increased mana regeneration. So trying to not stack the mana, it seems like. No, spaghettification. Only 13 to all attributes instead of 7% increased attributes. Big nerf. It's not going to be the most powerful. So stat stacking is getting the nerf, guys. So I don't know if this is going to be a nerf because the Spectres is out, but adjusted minion damage and life scaling. Early game, it should be about the same, but lower for higher levels, especially past level 20 gems. I don't know if that would be that big a deal. So the mana cast cost for all attacks, marks, and war cries have been reduced. So that attackers just got a lot stronger with that buff. All right, here it is, guys. Archmage. What happened to it? Archmage now causes non-channeling spells to gain 3% of damage as extra lightning damage for 100 mana. Previously, 5 to 6 at levels 14 to 20. Non-channeling spells now cost additional 6.7 to 6.1% of your mana. And then at level 14 to 20, it was previously 5.3. So the mana cost went up when you're using these. Quality provides 0 to 10 reduced reservations instead of granting extra lightning damage. Maximum mana you have. So it got nerfed by about 50%, guys. Archmage got nerfed about 50%. It's still going to be good because Archmage would take your spark from 15k to like 100k. So now if it only takes it to 60k, it's still going to be really strong. And then obviously we're getting new support gems, new uniques that hopefully increase your damage. So I still think Archmage is going to be strong. I'm not doubting it. Give me that extra ring slot. Like a Spark Ritualist. What up? Man, is this going to be the season of bleeding? 200% more magnitude of bleeding infected, previously 100. Ooh, Blink is now a travel skill. So it's not a dodge? Or is it? That's interesting. Does that mean it's not cast on dodge? I'm not really sure. Wait, is Blink going to be on your keyboard now and you're still going to have roll or dodge? Bleeding again. Blown Blast. Bleeding 40%. Previously 20. Oh, look at this. Cast on minion death. That was the Comet build. So now when they're lower level minions, they're not going to give you as much energy. So the cast on minion death build is gone. It won't work for this current setup until we find something else. Cast on shot got nerf. 1 energy. It used to be 2. Ooh, Combat Frenzy got a nerf 2. This is so you could easily get around the map with a monk build, staff build. We're going through the nerfs of the first edition of PoE 2. There's going to be new stuff that we're going to find that is going to be just as strong. Trust me. So I'm just talking about stuff that we played last season that we're probably not going to play this season. But there's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to find, especially with over 100 uniques. With 100 new support gems, we'll find some cool stuff. Don't worry, guys. Flame Blast has a 15-second cooldown. Now has 75% more damage per stage. Previously 200. And the explosion radius 0.6 per stage. Should be interesting. Ooh, they nerfed Spark with Flame Wall. So it used to be 64 to 91 damage. When you get a spark that goes through it, now it's 33 to 48. Looks like at early levels, it's still going to be decent for leveling, though. Look at Frost Bomb. Got a little bit of a buff. It's bigger. The radius. Frost Wall. 5-second cooldown. Used to be 3. They nerfed it. So Hammer the Gods no longer has a cooldown, but requires 20 glory to use. Glory is a resource that is built up by heavy stunning enemies. The amount of glory gained based on the stun monster's power quality. Dang, so there's no more Chrono Hammer the Gods builds. What the heck? That's okay. Well, Herald of Ice explosion radius went down. Wait, did they not nerf the Heralds more? The Thunder's Bolt and just the range a little bit. 0.2. So lightning, it has 20% more damage per 5% shock on the enemy. That's really good. Used to be just 100% more damage. Because how much shock could you get? You get 100 shock. That's 400% more damage. The Lightning Conduit might be something pretty interesting. This patch. Oh man, Lightning Warp no longer creates a shock ground if targeting a ball lightning projectile. We like that. All right, let's look at Spark. Spark now fires 4 to 9 projectiles. Used to be 6 to 14. No longer has increased speed. Previously increases projectiles. Spark got the nerf. That's not very good. 4 to 9. and they don't do any more damage, and they got nerfed by Archmage. Yeah, that's not very good. It seems like they had a nerf. I'm on the support gem changes, and it seems like anything with damage was nerfed. And I'm assuming they had to do this because of some of the balance changes to some of the new items, or that's probably what I'm getting at. So Astromentus didn't really get a big nerf, but stat stacking did. So it looks like it's 50 to 100 attributes versus 80 to 100. Oh, the Choir of the Storm. They got rid of the Greater Lightning Bolt. They just put it back to a Lightning Bolt. Hilarious. The Dream Fragments, big nerf. 10% increased maximum mana, previously 20%. Everlasting Gaze. Used to be 20 to 30% of your mana would be Energy Shield. Now it is 4 to 6%. This item is not going to be used. I don't see how that would be worth it. Maybe for leveling. The big one. The Hand of Wisdom and Action Gloves now adds 1 to 10 lightning damage per 20 intelligence. So it went to 20 instead of 10. 1 attack speed for 20. Before it was 3 per 25 dexterity. Now it's 1 per 20 dexterity. Interesting. So you can still stat stack. Uh-oh. Here it is, guys. The Ingenuity Belt no longer has 40 to 80% increased gain from equip rings. Instead, it has 30 to 50% bonus equipped from left ring and 30 to 50 from right ring. 30 to 50 from each. So you could get a 50-50 is a perfect one. The Last Flame Relic. Damage taken cannot be absorbed. Absorption effects included Guard, encased in the Jade, and Sorcery Ward. Existing items are unaffected by this change. All right, this is the shield, the Mox Shield. Now it has 100% increased socketed from soul cores. Oh, it used to be 333 to 666, and it has Everlasting Sacrifice, which I'm not sure what that does. So the Pillar of the Gods Cage went to 1% for the Dex and Intelligence. It used to be 2. Now it also provides 10% increased weapon damage per 10 strength. Previously 10% for 5 strength. There's the nerf there. Oh, the Temporalis causes skill to have -2 to -1 cooldown. It used to be -4 to -2. So it looks like Blink will not be that great with Temporalis, and it's a lot more rare. The Venturous Gamble, the rarity of it went down from -40 to 40 to -25 to 25. This is a pretty cool change. So when you get a perfect or greater, you don't have to put the lesser first, or the lesser then the greater then the perfect. So if you get a perfect, it automatically gives all the sockets. Doubled the drop rate of runes, and there are lesser runes, regular runes, and greater runes now. So crossbows got a damage buff. Thorns on rare modifiers have been buffed. So rarity at the top end is 25% on suffix and prefix, because rarity is one of the only ones that could actually be a suffix and a prefix. It looks like it is 25% on both now. Breach rings got a little bit of a nerf too. They could only do 40% quality. Previously, it was 50% quality. Chance for breach rings have greatly been reduced. So they're not going to drop as much. Armor on all monsters has been reduced by 30%. Oh, this is cool. User interface changes. And spectate. If you died, you get to spectate the party members in the group so you can see what they're doing. The ability to pan the mini-map overlay using the controller. So that's good for your controller peeps. Oh, Ritual Rewards now pauses the game. That is awesome. Item filtering applies to uncut gems. Good change. Looks like they got a ton of bug fixes too. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of bug fixes. So that's kind of highlights that stuck out to me. The thing I will say about the skill changes, pretty much everything here was a nerf. I'm assuming with a lot of the new league mechanics, we're going to feel a lot stronger, and it won't matter too much, but some of the builds like Spark, stat stacking, like got pretty messed up. I think Minions is going to be really strong, and I think like builds like Staff, Spears, Huntress is obviously going to be really good. Is going to be really good in this league is kind of what I'm getting at. So I'm going to be starting off with the Ritualist, and then I'll make a Lich. That is kind of goal. I think those two will be some of the best that we could play. They didn't really talk about like the too much. I was hoping to see some buffs to like skills that I really wanted to try again from like the staffs or wands or whatnot, but it doesn't even talk about staffs that like uses. So it's going to be another like without even using staffs, which is kind of weird. Maybe leveling, but that's about it. So a little bit of nerfs to some of the skellies, but really no real buffs that like that would be cool to try again. I think it is the season of the Huntress. Most people are probably going to try that out and play that for a while. But also some of the other new ascendancies look pretty good too, like the warrior and obviously the lich too. So tell me what you guys think. If you read all the notes, what did I miss out? What did I not talk about? But hopefully I got some of the good stuff. I didn't go over like the new content because I have videos about that. So if you do want to watch one of those videos, I'll post one of those videos somewhere on the screen. But it's about all the new things that is coming out with the new Dawn of the Hunt, all the exciting endgame content and whatnot. This is just kind of what's going on with our characters. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.